What's going on? It is Thursday, January 4th, 2024. Our first stream of
Ooh,
2024.
first stream of the new year.
Wow.
Bang, 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 bang.
I was nervous I was going to say 2023 by accident. So I was like
Proud of you.
staring at the date at the date on my computer screen. 2024. And we are back in the new year to continue talking about the Challenge 39, episode 12 this time. The episode was titled "A Legend Returns," but I named our stream "A Queen Returns" because Queen Cara Maria is back after 5 years. After 5 years, she's back.
Wow, has it really been 5?
Yeah,
It feels like that long, but it doesn't feel like that long, if that makes sense. But hearing it like 5 years, my God. Because that gives us, that's like, what, 2 years before the COVIDs?
right.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. And COVID adds an extra 3 years to everything, so it's really been like 8 years
That was
since we've seen her.
3 years ago.
Almost 4 now.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
alright.
like that at all.
Right?
But hey, all right, let's kick this sucker off. I'm excited to talk about it, even though it wasn't the ending we wanted. And let's just get into this.
I'll give her a flag.
All right, I am John Dunphy Judea, of course, standing my Queen Mariah. We've got, of course, my ride or dies, Mr. Kyle Petty Young, standing Kyland Young,
Hey.
and Miss Gina Morgino, standing Olivia Kaiser. And Kyle, I kind of cut you. Oh, hold on. We're Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. Find us everywhere on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. Follow, like, comment, subscribe. Go over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us a nice review. It's super helpful for the podcast, and we love to get the feedback. So, please do that. Kyle, as I was starting the intro, I heard you starting to say something, and I was interested with how the sentence ended. I don't know if you're even going to remember, but something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, I'll give her a," and then it cut off to go to the intro.
I would just give her a flower. That's all. Michelle gets a flower. We always, the saying is supposed to be what? Give them their flowers. I don't think she's warranting of a bouquet. All right. I'm still not digging her, but yes, I will give her one singular tulip.
A tulip. Okay. That was my next question, was which kind of flower. So you answered.
A tulip.
All righty.
Or a rose full of thorns and no petals.
Yeah. Wow.
There's your flower.
Stomp on it when it's on the ground.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Aggressive.
Even though the elimination didn't go the way we wanted, and the ending of the episode wasn't what we wanted, I am still excited to talk about it when we get there. So, but first, I really want to kick things off. I feel like I need to hear Gina's take on some of the stuff that's going on with Olivia, because we saw Olivia calling Horacio selfish and calling him a taker. We did find out that he didn't, ever even tell her that he was going to be competing on the season. Then we saw
that is wild to me.
Yeah, I am a little surprised by that. But we also saw Olivia kind of getting into it with Nerys at one point, because Olivia was kind of talking about Horacio and how close he's been with Zara, and I think trying to put a wedge between Nerys and Zara. So like Olivia feels like she's a little she's having some troubles, it seems like. What's your take on this, Gina?
I don't know. Like it's hard because obviously we're getting a very curated version of whatever is happening. So like when we don't have all the information and we're still only seeing the very beginning stages of whatever these conversations look like, it's hard to kind of like have a hard opinion. But based on what I saw in this episode, like if I were that close with somebody whether it's on a previous season or just in general, because if they came on Ride or Dies, they obviously had some sort of a prior relationship before that season. And like, I don't know, because I feel like even in the edit, we haven't seen them speak to each other at all. Like they're never in the same room as each other. And I feel like I would also feel some type of way if the person that I considered to be my ride or die had no relationship with me all of a sudden when we're back in this game, especially when their end happened the way that it happened last season. I don't know. It's like hard for me to kind of fault her based on what I've seen so far. I don't know if there's maybe to it.
It is interesting because like there was a point where I don't know if it was a confessional or something that Horacio mentioned like, oh, Olivia's name will never come out of my mouth. So he's telling us anyway that like he will never say her name. He has her back. But I guess, that we haven't seen any real conversations between them, I feel like. So has he told her that? I don't know.
Literally nothing between them, I feel like, this whole season. So it's like, if you're not reassuring her of that, maybe you might not say her name, but does she feel that? Does she know that? You're supposed to be her, supposed, I guess, best friend in here.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't disagree with anything you said there, but I think it also I don't know really what tack to kind of take with this, because they were on Ride or Dies together, but does anybody even remember why they were considered to be Ride or Dies? Because he didn't come from anything that she came from. She was a Love Island person. It's not like he was on that. So like, I'm not exactly sure what the foundation of their friendship was.
I don't remember if they had said it.
Yeah, I just quickly looked on Wikipedia. It just said friends like that. Who knows what that means? They came from different shows. Like maybe that foundation really wasn't what it was. Maybe Olivia also kind of got swept up in the vapors and the okie dokie.
The
vapors, right? Because he's a very attractive man. Like maybe she wasn't necessarily like digging him in that way, but I don't know. Like sometimes we are just still more drawn to good-looking people than not, even if they're just for friendship purposes, But like, did you get swept up in the fact that he was a great partner and that he played the game well, supporting you, and that made you believe that you had more of a friendship with him than you actually did?
That's the thing too, because like we did see her in this episode talk a couple of times about like feeling as though she's not pulling her weight for her team because she herself hasn't won anything this season yet. So I do also think there is a part of it of like, yeah, we were a team. And like, Jay had reassured her later on in this episode, like, we didn't put you guys in because of your social prowess. So like your social game really carried you a lot through Ride or Dies, but she's definitely feeling like she needs him in a physical competition kind of way. So that could also be adding to it too. Like, yeah, maybe there's a possibility where like they're not as, for lack of a better word, estranged as she might feel like they are, but she doesn't have his allyship as a partner in the same way that she did in the previous season. So like that could be adding to it too.
Yeah, and I agree with you too, Kyler. I feel like some of that support that she was getting from him emotionally is maybe something that she's looking for now, but he's not making himself available for that because now he's emotionally giving himself to Nerys that he's sharing a similar emotion with, and maybe he supported you in that way because you were his partner, and not necessarily because like I feel a kinship with you. Because some of what Olivia was saying in there almost made me feel it's almost like she's almost like painting him out to almost like not be a bad person.
She was laying it on a little thick.
Right. Yeah. And it's almost like she's been slighted. And I think they were also projecting maybe some of our own insecurities about our capabilities in this game, and our insecurities with the other relationships that we may or may not have in the house that now we're all placing on Horacio because you were supposed to be my ride or die.
Yeah.
But I think personality-wise, he's vibing with other people,
I can also see her just kind of like this be a situation where she's just like word vomiting of like, this is how I feel and I haven't really thought through it yet and I'm just going to say it. But like now the way that it's being edited and the people that she's saying it to, like saying it to Nerys of all people is like, maybe that's not the way we should be going about it.
Totally agree with that too. You really went to the wrong person with your insecurities. You don't go to the person that they're halfway dating to say like, I feel like your guy is doing me wrong when there's certainly reasons on Nerys's end to not be hella comfortable with his relationship with you. So I can't imagine Nerys is like, oh, woohoo, let me make sure I get you guys back on track. Like
there's definitely layers to it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. And I feel like only getting that one or two hot Olivia conversations doesn't really Kyler Nerys couldn't get that. That could be what she's showing on the outside, but I wonder if internally she's just like, get this girl out of my face. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. Stop talking about my
man. Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting thing going on with Olivia, because I do remember her saying at one point in the episode, feeling like it seemed like she felt like she needed to separate herself from Horacio a bit because she was under the impression that maybe some people think that he kind of carried her along or whatever it is. Like, so she's maybe feeling insecure about that. But then at the same time, she's pissed that he's not talking to her more. You know, it's kind of like an interesting thing. So I feel like
his end, he could be wanting to distance himself from her for the same reason. Like maybe he feels, yeah, she socially carried me through it, so I need to prove that I can do it without her, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I could see Horacio or Olivia both wanting to say, like, listen, the only time we've ever played this game before, we were locked into each other. We were each other's ride or dies. We had to work together. And like, I just kind of want to work with some new people now. You know, like that doesn't mean they don't have each other's backs, but Olivia seems to be taking it hard.
Yeah, I think the saddest part of this is that Olivia's takeaway from this entire thing is that she didn't put up physically, because I don't think that could be further from the truth. Like we saw Olivia as like a true like warrior. We're like, yes, this is how we want females to compete on this show, holding their own, shutting it down when they need to. I mean, how many times did they go into an elimination and got out of there? That wasn't all because Horacio did things. Like, that's because Olivia was meeting him. So whatever level you thought that Horacio was at, honey, you were right there with him getting it done. So like, even right up until her face split in two,
literally
she was
split
still
in
ready
half,
to go. How could you possibly think that you're not putting up the same as him? Yeah. If anything, she's better because, like everyone's saying, like Olivia's social game is like 3, 4, 5 times stronger than what Horacio has going on. So,
yeah. No, it's totally true. I mean, listen, Olivia literally broke her face and was begging to be allowed to continue. Begging. Like that's a
when have we ever seen that?
Yeah, that's a badass right there. You know?
And like one of the 4 things that happened to her in that final could happen to me, and I'd be like, goodbye.
Right.
I'm out.
So what I really need to see from Olivia going forward is to knock it off. All right. Pick your crown back up, readjust it on your fucking head, and let's go. Like, let's play this game, because Olivia is capable of so much more than she's giving herself credit.
I changed my name for a reason.
You're damn right. Gina never hyphenates, other than for Josh.
Right.
So, like, come on, Olivia. People believe in you. You believe in you.
Last thing on Olivia for now, because I know we've been spending a lot of time talking about Olivia, but I just felt like the beginning of this episode was I felt like pretty Olivia heavy, because we had, even in Neresa's family, or friends FaceTime call, we saw somebody in the video mention how apparently Olivia had been talking shit on social media or something like that, I guess on Twitter. But I don't know, that was just weird to me.
That whole thing was super weird. Yeah, I tweeted about this too. Like, what do you mean? How do you know anything that Olivia is saying what she's not saying that Nerese wouldn't have known before she got into the house anyway?
To my memory, they didn't specify like on Twitter or on social media. They just said like Olivia's been talking mad shit and here's the things that she's been saying. Right. It's like, all right, well, is somebody else in the house telling Neresa's family members that Olivia's talking shit in the house? And now they're telling Nerese, like, because if anything happened on social media, she would have known about it. So like, where, like, what is this? Where's this coming from?
And it's like, do you think that this challenge audience is so stupid that we don't know this was filmed months ago? Like,
it really threw me off.
Right. It's like, I don't know who you're trying to pull the wool over on. Okay. It's like, I know what time it is. Like, I know what's going on here. What was that? Really strange.
See, I took it as social media, but maybe it definitely was. Like, the only way that I could see that being something is if, like, Neresa's family, like someone in her family, like they know other people in reality TV, and maybe Olivia spoke to one of them, and then like it was spread by word of mouth. But like, I don't know, it was just such a weird segment to me.
It was so confusing.
Very weird. Very weird.
But I also want to say Kyler, who always watches us and comments on all of our challenge stuff, really is fantastic. Always has good comments.
We love Kyler.
And Kyler is always right, by the way, because last week I was looking at the title for this week's episode, A Legend Returns, and I was like convinced it was going to be CT, and she said no, CT is going to be last, and it looks like that's going to be it, because we had Cara in this one. I don't think you're going to end with Brad, right?
But that's what I'm saying. So where's Brad?
Probably
I think Brad's next. Yeah.
Oh,
I just assumed that we were going to end with Cara and CT, like they'd be the last two. But
yeah, why have we had like 4 female eliminations in a row? Like, why aren't the men sweating?
Maybe the men had contracted COVID. like the men mercenaries. Like
is that all that's left? Is the two?
Yeah. We
just
did
Brad
all the
and
women
CT.
now. The thing is, like, the way that they talked up the next on did not give me Brad vibes. Because there was something that TJ said, like, oh, this is like this person is the challenge, like defines challenge, something like that. Like there was something about how that person was being described that I'm like, I'm not disrespecting Brad. Like I do love Brad, but like you cannot tell me that man's the face of the challenge. He's not. Like, come on now.
Maybe just in the way that like he never gives up, he's not the best, but he tries really hard. He's got a lot of heart, and that's what the challenge needs. Maybe that's like what it is.
Okay.
That's what I say. Like,
sure.
You say so.
I don't know. Brad's a good guy,
Yeah, I'm saying no. I don't hate him, but like the intro that you were giving him, didn't sound Bradish to me. That's all.
Bradish.
No relation to a radish.
To a radish, yeah. So I guess let's get into this daily challenge. This daily challenge was called "We All Fall Down." Beard of the challenge, maybe, says Kyler. That's true. Yeah. Brad definitely has the most prolific beard on the challenge for sure.
Wait, Kyler. Tori hates Brad. All the more reasons to not like Tori.
Yeah, right.
Like we're not going to stand for that. I'm not going to say that Brad is the face of the challenge, but I'll be damned if Tori's going to sling mud. Like, yeah. The challenge collective is sick of her face. Okay?
Oh man. But all right. Daily challenge. We all fall down. This had a 30-foot tower out in the water with a floating wall suspended above this platform. And basically, we had 4 teams of 4. They would each compete 1v1, one team versus one team at a time. And so it was basically like a semifinals matchup and then a finals matchup. And basically, all one team had to do was push the wall in a certain way where it would knock the other team off of the platform. And again, just random teams. It was just how they were standing. They said, you're a team of 4, you're a team of 4, you're a team of 4. And it annoyed me again, like it has the last however many weeks. But whatever. Our first matchup was Colleen, Raven, Jay, Asaf versus Kyland, James, Michelle, and Mariah. And I thought it was very interesting before the daily challenge started because Michelle, of course, coming in, my whole team says they don't trust me and blah, 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 blah. And her and Mariah kind of got into it. And that was I think that was when I actually tweeted like, all right, Michelle is just so annoying.
I've been done with her. She just really thinks she's Queen Bee. I just hate her.
Oh my God.
And it's like Kyle's laments.
When she made that comment about how like, oh, all the worker bees are figuring out that the queen bee is not protecting them anymore and they're teaming up. And I was oh my God, you have never been to a final. You are not a queen bee.
But I mean, to be fair, I feel like every season that she's on, we see it through her perspective via the edit. Like, I feel like the challenge treats her that way,
Right. She's getting the Tori treatment, and I don't know why. Why are you forcing her on us? Does no one else have anything else to say?
Felt that way.
Do you think it's because like she came into this as a Survivor winner, so like she had that clout, and they felt like we gotta put some steam behind her and like let her become one of the new faces of the show? Like, do you think that could have something to do with it? Like, she definitely had a higher profile coming in than some other newer players that come in because of the fact that she was a Survivor, a sole Survivor. So,
I guess. I mean, yes, Berna may never have won Survivor in her time, but she's played multiple times.
Like 4 times, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, and she was just cast on Survivor All-Stars over there in Turkey. She's going to be playing with Turbo.
Wow.
So put some respect on her name. And you want to talk about other winners? I mean, Colleen won the mole Germany. Like, she was the mole and won. That counts for something. Like, I mean, I guess as I'm looking at the rest of this cast, no one else has that kind of a resume.
Yeah.
So I guess I just
Yeah.
She's
I don't know.
Really irritating.
Pretty irritating.
Because I do feel like it's every season that I've seen her on, we get so many more Michelle confessionals than anything else. Like we're constantly being told the story through how she experienced it.
Yeah. Yeah. But as much as some of her teammates thought she might be trying to sabotage this competition, Michelle's team did win this first round with Kyland, James, and Mariah. Which then sent us to round 2, where we had Corey, Emmanuel, Olivia, and Nerese competing against Ed, Horacio, Berna, and Zara. And Corey really, he's my slacker for this daily challenge. He did not do well in this. And I love Corey, but he's a big, strong guy, and he didn't seem like he could do anything in this. Especially because
strategy.
It was like highlighted at one point about how like Ed, Horacio, Berna, and Zara, like Ed's a big dude. But like overall, this was like the smallest team, and then you have somebody like Corey who's like the first one off the platform for his team, and I was like, not the best for Corey here, as Kyle changes his name.
Of all the moments to change your name,
because I be forgetting about him sometimes because I'm so Kyle and crazy. However, but that's the best time to change it, right? He's getting slammed, and like, no. Putting the name back, so I stand behind my man. I forgot you. But he just had a bad strategy. But like I still say I give Corey a lot of credit because he totally has turned things around for himself, and like people aren't looking at him the way that they were. Granted, this was a Women's Week again, so like a little challenging in that way. How can we didn't really put that to the test, right? But I'm getting the feeling that next time with this men's one, we're not going to see him in trouble. I really don't think so. I think that people are shifting their game a bit here, and they're realizing there are bigger fish to fry. Okay,
right.
Fish to fry.
Things definitely are shifting in there.
Oh yeah,
and we can talk about that for sure. So let's just get through this daily challenge. So round 2, Ed, Horacio, Berna, and Zara take the win, which set up the final matchup of Kyland, James, Michelle, Mariah, Ed, Horacio, Berna, and Zara, who were the self-described smallest team in the field, and they were the ones that took it home. And the 4 of them decide to nominate Colleen for elimination. And it was interesting because this was the first. I wasn't thrilled with the nomination, but it was interesting to see Zara and Horacio, who have both been outvoted at times earlier in the season by because they were on a winning team, but didn't have the influence to kind of nominate who they wanted, and they were outvoted. And in this instance, Horacio and Zara really took control, because I think Berna wanted to see someone else go in. She was trying to fight back.
She was fighting hard for Colleen.
Yeah. And but this time Zara and Horacio, they won out. So clearly some of those complaints it could be different if you had a different lineup here, like a different group of 4. Maybe someone would have spoke up against Horacio, but it was nice to see him where he was having trouble in the past, kind of being firm about who he wanted, and then in this one kind of taking charge, even if I didn't love that they threw Colleen in. But
yeah, and I think there's something to be said there too for the fact that people have been shitting on Berna a lot as well, and it's this is one of those moments where when you go back to some other deliberations that we've seen with these smaller groups, not the group deliberation, but these little quick small group conversations that we have to make these quick decisions. Everyone's been complaining there and on social media that I wish this person would have spoken up more. I wish this person would have tried a little bit more. And it's for all the things that you can say about Berna, how you feel like you don't like how she's throwing this person out because they're smooching too much during sleepy times or whatever. She is a damn good ally. And if she says
she is not going to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah. No, she's not. And that is definitely somebody that you want on your team. So people need to respect Berna a little bit more. And she might have some social things that don't really mesh with the way that we do things. I think those are also cultural differences, right? But she's a true ally, and if she says that she's got your back, she truly does. So she's definitely somebody who I would think you would want to have in your corner.
Yeah.
And thinking back to it makes me even feel even worse for her, because I think it was last week that her and Michelle, Berna kept talking about how she thought she was super close with Michelle, that they were working together, and Michelle just so easily was tossing Berna aside. And it's like, look at this person that's like literally fighting to just be your ally. Like she thought she was your ally. You're kind of casting her aside, and like it's really hurting her. Like those are the kind of people that you want to be backing you up, and you don't want to just be like dismissing them so easily. Like
exactly, because Berna is not the kind of person to say like, you know what, in this crowd, I'm not going to stand up for you because I know that could hurt my game. She's so loyal that she's actually going to back you up, even if it makes her look like a clown.
Right.
And like, how do you discount that? Like that's you can't put a price on that. Like that's a really, really huge deal. That is somebody I would absolutely feel comfortable going to the end with, because like every single time you said you would back me up, you do. Like you always, I don't know, just always stand the test of time. You know,
and
like,
even with Michelle specifically, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the first episode where people were like really not feeling Berna, wasn't the whole thing like, I want to be in a room with Michelle, like that's who I want to bunk with because I feel so close to her and I want to like, you know, work with her in this game. Like from the jump, she was like, I got Michelle.
Exactly. Berna's story never changed. And I think that's why, because I think it was also Corey who was like, no, I'm going to protect Berna because he understands what she's about.
The value in her, yeah.
Yeah, she might be a little bit of wild card. She's got a different kind of a temper. She does different things, but like in the game, she's got you. There's a lot to be said for that. And I think that's also, I wonder if that's also partly like why she's still there. Because again, like I think we mentioned last week, no one's saying Berna. They're all saying they get annoyed with her, but like
they're trying to get rid of her, yeah.
They're sure not. They're sure not. And I wonder if she's got some side things going on. Right. Why is it always Colleen and Raven every single time? Berna was the first person on everyone's list, and all of a sudden, she's not. They all talk about how much she annoys them, but
yeah. I think also like Berna and Emmanuel's alliance, I think is pretty important in the game too. Because like we found out even earlier in the season that like we know that Emmanuel knows people, has relationships with people, and like has worked with people in the past, but like it's not as clear.
Season.
But it's not as clear like that his connections are very strong as opposed to people like Jay and Michelle. But like then we saw like at some point another, was it Kyland and Horacio that threw Emmanuel in, and people were being like, that was a bad move. Emmanuel is way more connected than people realize. And we've seen Emmanuel talk about how much he like likes Berna and wants to work with her. And I wonder if that's helping Berna out a little bit too.
I wonder too, but I don't know. Emmanuel is not striking me as a very loyal person. And I feel like if the tides shift enough on Berna, he would drop her.
That's fair.
There's but like about him, I don't know what it is. There's just something I don't trust.
Very snaky.
And that's
that's sound.
That's totally fair. But like I was surprised when we were hearing people say that like it was a bad move to say Emmanuel's name because of how connected he really is. Like I wasn't aware of how connected he was. So like maybe that is something.
I'd be very interested to see how that one plays out too. You're very connected when there's 16 people left. Let's cut this sucker down. And let's see how many people are really riding for Emmanuel. Because I think that somebody like Michelle or Jay drop them like a hot potatoes.
Sure. But I do think it's interesting that like Kyland and Horacio said his name. Nobody backed them up from their own alliance. And then Emmanuel's name has never been spoken again. You know what I mean? Like that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that that's interesting. I think it's also going to be interesting to see how that continues to play out, because everyone's been in a super, super safe position because there's always been so many other people to call out. And because we're in this chaos phase where sometimes people don't go home, people don't whatever. Once this is over and you're putting two people down there and you know only one person is definitely coming back, the way you play this is going to be very, very different. I could always say, like, oh, I trust you. I think you're really good. You're going to come back. Don't worry. I know. I went with the crowd, but it doesn't matter. You're a strong competitor. You're not going to be able to say that anymore because, like, the probability of you going home is going to be so much higher.
Yeah. So, yes, we had the daily challenge. Colleen was Colleen was nominated for elimination, and then we went back to the house and we saw in a room Asaf, Emmanuel, and Colleen, kind of talking about the structure of the house, like who's working with who's at the center of it all. And I took a little screenshot because Colleen had this list. So I'll just put this up on the screen. This was Colleen's list. In the center, we have MONJ, which stands for Michelle, Olivia, Nerisse, and Jay. Now, to the right of this, we have MJHK, which I'm assuming is Mariah, James, Horacio, and who am I forgetting? Kyland. Yes, that's right. And then underneath those four, we have R and Z, which I guess is Zara for Z, right? And R is the
Raven?
And Raven, that's right. Thank you so much.
Who the hell is R?
So that's on the right side of the center portion that has Michelle, Olivia, Nerisse, and Jay at the center. That's to the right of that. So on the left of that, we have ACBE, which I guess is Asaf, Corey, I'm guessing, Berna, and Ed. And then below that, it looks like Colleen and Emmanuel for CE.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in the conversations we can infer that the second C is Colleen.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to me to look at this because I think you could start seeing a few of those letters that are on the left side kind of travel on over to the right side at some point. And we might see people like Colleen and Emmanuel, even a Berna kind of switch over. And that turns into a very scary thing, I think, for our center group of Michelle, Olivia, Nerisse, and Jay. Maybe not Nerisse so much because she's working with Kyland and Horacio,
I also don't think Olivia so much because Olivia is not the one out there trying to act like she's Queen Bee, especially with what she's been projecting lately. Again, we're projecting these insecurities. These are all reasons for people to think that like you're less of a threat, right? It is the energy of Michelle and Jay that I think will actually work to their detriment, because you're acting like you're running the whole thing. Like there was that conversation last week, even at that ABC, is that what they call it? ABC.
Yeah, anything but close.
Anything but close. I was like, ooh, is it a good to strong? Yeah. That party where Michelle was like, I'm sorry, I don't really know what to do. Like, that's the only option. And it's like, you're just acting like, you're just never in danger. Like you act like you're so untouchable. And that attitude, I think, is not going to fare well later on. And that's not an energy that Olivia is putting out there. So even in that scenario with that 4, I think Olivia is at towards about on the list. If anything, I would think even lower than Nerisse.
Right.
Because socially what she's putting out there is I don't have another person. Horacio was supposed to be my person. He's not. He's more yours. So if anything, in that 4, I think she's seated towards the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you consider, and we learned this recently about this whole Fantastic Four alliance between Michelle, Jay, Nerisse, and Asaf. Remember the whole Fantastic Four? But like, what's interesting is that I don't know how much longer Nerisse is going to want to be a part of that.
No, and I think that movie would be as critically panned as every other Fantastic Four movie that came out.
Oh man. No.
Oh man.
Rotten Tom says 6%.
Say Rotten
Tom.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Tom, I can't stand you.
Oh my god. That is the first time I've ever heard Rotten Tomatoes referred to that way.
Yeah, I can't say that's a common.
I think that was, sometimes certain things like fly out. There are inside jokes in other groups. And you don't remember like
oh no, yeah. Sometimes you say an indoor thought outside, and then you say maybe that one should have stayed inside.
Rotten Tom-Toms.
Rotten Tom-Toms. Oh my god. Yeah, that's really funny. But all right, yeah. So the house seems to be like all over the place.
Very divided.
I also I do have to wonder, like, if you're like one of these newer players that's competing as a contender on Battle for a New Champion, right? Like you have very few seasons under your belt. Michelle and Jay are the most seasoned veterans in there, and Michelle we know is on her 4th season. I don't know if Jay also has 4 seasons or not. I don't remember the exact number, but I think it's interesting, like because we know that Kara ended up pulling the mace and calling out Michelle, but like it's interesting to me that we've had 2 legendary women come into this, like legendary challenge champions, and Cara Maria and Laurel come in, and both of them have called out Michelle. Like, if that's
and
the
for
queen,
such strongly different reasons too.
Right. And like, if you're in this house and you've been, Michelle has been the queen bee, and you see like these two people that know Michelle, or well, Cara doesn't know Michelle, but like,
she didn't even know her name.
Yeah, orange shirt,
which
orange
was
shirt.
also a point of contention. But you finish your thought.
But like, I'm just wondering, like, I don't know. For me, I kind of be like, why am I doing all this, the dirty work for Michelle and Jay? Like, these people don't respect them at all. Like, if I'm on another season with Michelle and Jay, and it's not a battle for a new champion with all contenders, but there's actually veterans in here, like champions and legends of the game, like, why do I want to work with Michelle? Clearly, they all do not care for her. Like,
right. What was the issue of contention that you were mentioning, Jeans?
So I don't know if she was on a live or it was just like a video that she posted, but Michelle was talking about basically what you said about how like Laurel was like, oh, the girl in the purple shirt, and Cara Maria was like, oh, orange shirt, or like whatever it was. And she was like, I don't understand why they're acting like so disrespectfully to me. They know who I am. They both know me. They both know my name. They know exactly who I am. Maybe they're just threatened by me. Like, I don't understand why they can't just call me by my name. It was really disrespectful. It was premeditated before they both came in. They were both going to do that to me as soon as they saw me. And like, it was like, she went on like this rant about how like Laurel and Cara had planned before they went in to disrespect Michelle by like not even calling her by her name. And she was like really pressed about it.
I half agree. I definitely believe that Laurel would do that.
Yeah.
I think that was shade for sure. She was,
that was definitely Laurel's
I'm not even
style.
going to dignify her with her name. Yeah.
I don't think Cara gives two craps about any of this. I don't think she would give you that much attention because, like, she's so pressed. She hasn't been around for a while. Like, Laurel had a reason to kind of have a little something against Michelle, but like Cara, absolutely not. Like,
what was so funny about Cara too is like, I feel like we see a lot of people come in and be like, I don't know who this person is, but I've seen them on other seasons, so I know these things about them. Cara fully was just like, I don't know. Polly told me that some chick named Michelle was kind of snaky, so I guess I'm gonna go for her. Like, neither of them like are bothered.
Exactly. I heard she's kind of snaky, but like, but why? And like, she started with the available women. She's like, you tell me, who should I put down here? Oh, you don't want to tell me? It must be you. I must take you. I'll take you.
It was so
Cara
funny.
did not give two craps who she was. If anyone else had started there and said the same thing she did, she probably would have still done the same thing. Like, I really don't care.
Right.
Like, well, and that's Cara's style, and that's why we like her so much, because she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna call anybody out, and like, just come on down. All right.
Right.
I feel whatever, but like, I still called you out.
Yeah, I had planned to actually save this because I took a little video of this, but it was so good, and of course I had to include it on the stream. So now that we're kind of talking about it, even though we haven't gotten to the elimination yet, I feel like we just have to watch it because it was so good. It was so good.
Let's give
orange shirt. I can only speak for myself. I'm not one to throw anybody else under the bus. So it'll be you. But I will say, okay, but if you don't give a name, it's you. Here's the thing. I like balls. And if you were to stand there and say, well, if not me, this one over here, just because I don't want to be me. So what you're telling me is you don't really want to get to the end. So with that, I don't even need to go to the rest of them.
And that's it.
God,
that's the Cara we know and love.
So this, for me personally, this is my intro to Cara.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this. I wanted to ask you, not even including the elimination itself, but just your first impression of Cara. Yeah.
That moment alone, I was scared shitless. I was like, I would literally just go home. I would be like, I know she's gonna pick me. I'm out. Give her the money.
I would have loved to see Gina watching this because I feel like she was like,
I literally was sitting on, literally, it was just me on my bed, like, ooh, my God, I would cry if she called me out like that.
Yes, that's the Cara that we know. And unfortunately, that is also perfectly in line with the Laurel that we know.
Yeah.
And like, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, there was a period of time where Laurel and Cara were a thing.
They were like a romantic thing, yeah.
Yes, they were a romantic thing, and that did not pan out well. Which
yeah,
also
that sounds
was
very volatile.
Yes, and there was a lot of fun that came from the challenge from that failed relationship or failed attempt. You know what I mean? So like these are two women who are not they're fearless. You know, yeah.
Not Matt. I'm sorry. Matt goes, Gina, you could absolutely take her in a cage match. I would cry. I wouldn't go in. What is the matter with you? That's not even a funny joke. You don't understand how badly I would want to cry.
Did you see her arms? Like Cara's arms? Like how muscular she is. Such a badass.
If we were all in a hall brawl and it was Strat Chat versus Cara, we would
She would still kick our ass.
Yeah. No, not only would we lose, but all of us would be like bleeding profusely.
Decimated.
I'd be on my back faster than a Saturday night.
Decimated.
Oh man.
Natalie wants to talk about Asaf and Jay.
They're annoying.
Really?
What does Natalie? What does Natalie want to talk about with them though? Anything? Any specific?
We hate them. Can't wait for them to go. I hope it's a double. Let Brad and CT take them both out. I feel like stock in this season would skyrocket. Like, what else do you want to know? Like, their music is terrible. Okay, like
oh my god, their
music is bad.
Oh my god, I forgot we ended the stream with that.
I was gonna say I almost somehow forgot about that, and now it's like in my brain again, and I hate it.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh no.
Oh man. But all right, let's talk about the elimination. We knew that Colleen was going in. The nomination whole thing was useless. These have gotten more and more boring every week. It was just Raven voted in again. At least, like, even if the vote sucked previously, like, at least you had somebody like kind of digging a hole for themselves, saying crazy things, like
something.
As much as I'm happy that like Corey his game has turned around for him and he seems to be in a much better spot now. Like, it was entertaining when he went out there and was like, yeah, I've been using Big T and Melissa. I didn't like that he was doing that and like calling them out, because I liked Big T and Melissa. But at the same time, like, it felt like in these deliberations and nominations, at least there was something like exciting to watch. And now it's like they all just sit down and then everybody just piles votes on one person and then it's over. So I hate it, to be honest.
Stupid. It's super stupid. And I think that's also why this chaos phase has been a little frustrating to me, because like it's very exciting to obviously see the mercenaries. That's great. But when somebody doesn't go home, the game is not advancing at all. I will say this week is a little bit of an exception, because I feel like some of the cracks that were beginning to form kind of expanded this time, right?
Yeah.
I do feel like with this time, we are walking into a completely different game now. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. I'm sorry, totally like co-opting your thing here.
No, what do you mean? What?
What?
I'm just so tired of these people advertising this crap. Get the hell out of here.
Oh, I saw the comment. Somebody's trying to help us promote our channel.
It's so fucking annoying. We have the people that we want to talk to on here. We're done. Thank you. Delete. All those people are like, oh, you can get more views. We don't want them. Get out of here. We're very content. Block. Don't ever message me again.
Like, every Instagram post is like, promote it on here. It's like, don't want to.
Bye. Don't ever talk to me again.
Oh man. But okay, so we have Colleen going in, we have Raven going in again, being the nominated person, and we went to the arena. TJ's there, kind of was like, what the hell is going on? Why is it always you two?
Yeah, even he's bored.
Yeah. And then we had a glorious entrance for our returning champ, and I just had to, you knew I had to show it on here, so here it is.
Be the best, you gotta beat the best, right? Yep. This challenge champion is one of the best. Come on out.
When I tell you, like, I was so I know it sucks that Cara lost and Michelle won this one. It sucks. It sucks so much. But seeing that intro for Cara and like seeing her run out of that tunnel and just seeing her back on another season of the challenge on MTV, I had like chills. I can't believe we finally got her back after all these years. Like she's finally back.
It's been a long time. Welcome home. Welcome home. There was a part of me that also felt like Mariah had no idea who she was.
I feel like a lot of them didn't, honestly. Like you could tell the people that were like amped and the people that were like, wow.
Wow, I have to look surprised because I know I'm on a TV
oh my
show.
God.
But who is lady?
It was awesome though. It was actually fun to see how excited Nerys was by Cara coming out. And she actually tweeted about it too, about how like she was such a big fan of the challenge growing up, and Cara was one of her favorites, and like it was like an amazing experience to see Cara running out into the arena. So I loved that.
She is a legend. She is.
Yeah. So what do you think? Was it fixed this draw for Cara to pull the mace?
Yeah, it could have been. But I'm not mad about it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. No, it gave us what we wanted.
Yeah, it was good television.
Although I do want to ask you guys about what you thought about the choice of the elimination for this blockheads of, they had to push these large blocks around. Yeah. Well, I tweeted about this myself, honestly, because
the choice in what matter? What do you mean?
Like of what the elimination was.
The choice of the elimination itself. Yeah. So it was these large blocks that they had to push to this platform that they started on and then complete the puzzle. And I just felt like you're bringing Cara Maria back after 5 years. You're getting ready for her to appear on All Stars 4. It seems like this is like the return of Cara Maria. Like I want to see her in a pole wrestle or a hall brawl or something like that. Like just pushing blocks around to make a puzzle. Like I didn't love that choice, honestly.
I don't know. I felt like that's not what I would have wanted to see Cara in, but I did think it was fair. I thought it was fair because it was a good mix of both. There was a really good physical element to it because you saw she made quick work of moving those boxes. There was no problem to her. Bang, 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 bang. And then she got held up on the puzzle. Michelle had lots of trouble moving those boxes, but she made quick work of the puzzle. I thought that was accurate. I think that Michelle does deserve a little credit for actually winning this one. I think she gets a little bit more credit, not a little bit more. Sorry, she gets a lot more credit than Raven gets for the elimination with Laurel because that was all centered around everyone else telling her where these pegs should go. And I know that there's some tweets between Kyland and Corey. They're going on and on about how, it was still just as physical because they had to run back and forth. I call poppycock on that one. Absolutely not. There's a lot more physicality to this one, especially like you can move a block as many times as you want, flipping it from side to side. Once it got on that puzzle platform, I think moving this became a whole lot harder because the puzzle image was not on every single side of that cube. So Michelle does deserve a lot of credit for this one. Even if people from the side were shouting out to where boxes should go, she had to have it within herself to move them.
And I'll say too, like I feel like because I watched this episode today, but I still saw a lot of like the tweets and like the discourse that was happening last night. And I saw a lot of people commenting on like how everybody in the crowd was helping Michelle, and that's the reason why she won this. And I will be the first one to say, I've said it 1,000 times, I hate when the people on the sidelines are helping in these eliminations because to me, that doesn't feel like a real elimination. That's everybody against one person. I don't like that they're able to do that. I hate it. I did not feel that way in this elimination. Like I feel like, either. Which again, it could just be a product of the edit, but like I feel like most of what we were hearing was people cheering her on rather than giving her the answer. And every once in a while you'd be like, oh, that's the middle piece or like something like that. But like, I feel like this was not a case of like everybody helping her beat Cara in the same way that the other ones were.
Yeah, I do agree with that because the way that this puzzle was constructed, this was a lot harder to try to direct from the stands.
Yeah.
Because like even if you can see it and you have a better view of it than Michelle does, which they definitely did because they're watching from the top, she's watching straight on, she's looking straight on. That's definitely more challenging. But like, how do you convey that from the side? Oh, that one with all the lines like that. This and like. I do think that Michelle does deserve some credit for this one. The Raven one, I will always debunk because that was just colored pegs in certain spots. That is very easy.
That one I had much bigger of a problem with.
Yeah, you can totally direct that one. This, I don't know. Michelle won. She won.
I don't.
And even Cara was like, she beat me, like full.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, absolutely. I get it. Sorry, girl. Shouldn't have called you out. Bye now.
No. I do agree. I will say though, like just in general, like the yelling from the crowd has never really bothered me all that much because I do think it shows another side of the game of being like, all right, whoever the crowd is helping and cheering for, the majority of the crowd is that this is a social part of the game too. And it also could potentially set up interesting things where it's like if one person is standing up there and noticing that like one person over there is cheering particularly hard for one player, it's like, all right, well, maybe now I should be targeting this person. I think that adds an interesting,
No, and I agree with that 110%. But I'm not sure that totally applies in this chaos phase.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
That's the problem I have with it. Now, Raven, if she never comes back to the challenge, she gets to walk around her chest all the way out to I beat Laurel, honey. Baby girl, no, you did not. You didn't beat Laurel. You and 16 other people beat Laurel. Like, Michelle does get to take that W and like say, I did this. And because she did, she put in the work.
Actually, so it's interesting. So one thing I wanted to say was I read something, I don't know if it's 100% accurate because I read it on some social media site that apparently prior to this elimination, Laurel was the only person to beat Cara Maria in a 1v1 elimination until Michelle. So that's pretty crazy. Granted, Cara Maria's been out of the game for 5 seasons, 5 years, immediately gets thrown into an elimination, might be a little rusty. So take that as you will, whatever. Still have to give Michelle credit for sure. I'm not trying to take that away, but like,
I wouldn't take that away from Michelle because I wouldn't say that Cara's rusty. If you follow her on the socials and everything, you know what she's been doing. Like, this is a very physically fit woman. That's why she beasted the moving of the boxes. Like,
well, I wonder if she's been practicing. Well, she has done
Cara's thing. That's never.
She has done a well in some puzzles at times though. She beat Bananas in one puzzle in a final. She's pulled out some big puzzle wins. So
she has, but I think that those were a little bit more surprising than like things that I would have bet on.
Right.
I will say that anytime I see Cara with a puzzle, I might have bet against her. Right. Like that's not. Physicality is thing, not puzzle,
and that's
in my opinion.
Well, then that's one of my things too. Then though, is that like if you're bringing Cara back, if she's not known as a great puzzle person, why are you making this elimination a puzzle?
Right, because it's not supposed to be catered towards her though. It's supposed to be fair for everybody who's playing.
But is it fair? Is it fair if Michelle is a puzzle queen and Cara is not? Is that fair?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is because she didn't have to choose Michelle. This had a physical element to it, and there was the puzzle. You chose Michelle, so that's tough nookies on your part.
I have like a bit of a conspiracy theory about this myself because I feel like we said the same kind of thing last week where it was like you bring Laurel in and it's basically a puzzle elimination. Like, why are you doing that? Like, you have like these strong physical competitors coming in and doing eliminations that like maybe aren't the thing that they're for. I almost kind of feel like production might be doing that on purpose because the whole point of this season is like a battle for a new champion. Whoever wins this season is now going to be able to say, I not only can stand alongside these other champions, I beat them. I won against them. Do we think that they are putting these mercenaries in eliminations that they're not as
they're designed to lose?
So that it gives the person who wins a little bit more clout and a little bit more of something to cling to. So now you can say, I beat Cara, I beat Laurel, I beat all of these
gives
people.
You an argument.
Like huge beasts.
Yeah, gives you an argument.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I do wonder though, because it's interesting. Like, I think it could potentially start new rivalries, right? Which could be exciting for future seasons. If somebody wins that's got into elimination and beaten a champion, like that's a good thing. I beat the best, but as Raven and Colleen told us in this elimination, they've been down multiple times, and how many people on that stage have never been down? So what if the champion never went to elimination and never beat a champion?
Yeah.
Right. See, and the Laurel thing, I still think that was that elimination was just garbage. Like I just don't think that was a good challenge at all. Like it was not fun to watch. I don't think it was a very accurate representation of people's capabilities at all, whether it was Raven or Laurel. All right, because it had so much to do with the people in the stands.
Yeah.
I do stand behind this one though with Michelle and Cara.
Oh
like,
no,
this one was very, very fair, and I think that Michelle does get to add that bullet point.
Oh yeah.
Not only did I dominate things socially, much to my chagrin, right? I dominated these things socially, and I did beat a legend.
Yeah.
She does get that. I think she gets that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
As much as I don't want to give it to her.
I know. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
feel the disdain as you're saying it.
Oh yeah, I'm not sleeping tonight. No. Silly.
But yeah, so I think we pretty much talked about everything, right?
We sure did. We got granular.
Were you surprised at all with how much trouble Michelle was having pushing those blocks? Were you surprised at all by that? It seemed like she was like
I expected as much.
Like just stuck in the mud at times, like could barely move anything. I don't know. I was a little surprised by that.
I argue that like anybody else would have the same problem. Cara is just so freaking strong that she was like, whatever. So it looked like she was struggling more than she was.
Bing, bing, bing. She's basically singing Christmas carols as she went down the road.
Like the way that all this started too, with like Cara coming in, calling Michelle out, like it was just so good to see her. The competition starts. Cara's just flipping these boxes over like it's nothing. And then she even like at one point was blocking one of Michelle's blocks.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, there's no way Michelle's winning this. And then it felt like something like a switch flipped so quickly, and all of a sudden Michelle was done. And I was like, what the hell is happening? This is Cara's return. Why am I so angry?
Like, right. Well, I will say, you know, as much as there was a lot of focus in the way that they edited this to make it look as if Michelle wasn't keeping up, but every time they panned out, and you saw how many blocks were on the side, Michelle was actually kind of keeping up with her. Even though Cara was making like, you know, quick work of the whole thing, and that's how they made it look, it didn't ever look like Michelle was that far behind either.
I would even say that like there was a couple of points where it looked like Michelle was even ahead. Like she had more pieces on the board. The pieces that weren't on the board were pretty close to the platform. Like, and then it felt like Cara's, where it seemed like she got them all. She was pushing them all so easily, getting them over to the platform. It felt like somehow out of nowhere, Michelle just had all the pieces there. And maybe that had something to do with like Cara having trouble with the puzzle. So she was pushing pieces off or something. Like, I don't know. Like,
right. I don't know what the strategies were.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. This was a wild ending to the episode because I was really enjoying things because this was the first time that MTV actually told us who the champion was going to be ahead of time, right? Like, I don't remember seeing a post. I saw a post like in the afternoon before this episode being like, Cara Maria comes back tonight. I don't remember seeing a post like that for other episodes. Do you? Unless I just missed those.
I haven't been paying enough attention to the socials, honestly.
I have been paying attention to the socials, but I didn't see a tweet that said that officially, like from the challenge. I saw other people say that, like Paulie tweeted that Cara was back, and like things like that. I didn't. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. I'm just like,
I feel like I remember last week, like a couple hours before the episode, Laurel being like, "Oh, make sure to watch it." Like, blah blah blah. You might see something. Like, I feel like they're all kind of like hinting when they're coming back.
Yeah.
But even because I remember saying last week when like we were trying to figure out who it was going to be, I thought it was going to be Cara next. I don't remember why I thought that, but I remember being like, no, I was under the impression that Cara is the next person up. Like, I felt like I had seen something.
This is from the official challenge Instagram, and they have Cara Maria tagged, and it says Cara Maria makes her return to the sand tonight on the Challenge 39. Don't miss it at 8/7 Central on MTV. And that's from the official.
And they haven't done that for others.
That's what's that?
They haven't done that for others.
I haven't seen that for others, so that's why I was like, "You're hyping this up," you know, like, and it's like, yeah, this is the post from the challenge. Cara Maria makes her return,
and I liked it.
You did like it, yeah.
He's like, I saw nothing.
I like everything though. If the challenge, because I want to keep showing up in the algorithms. So I just like kind of do that. All right. That's it. I also would have thought that she was going to win because All Stars 4, we know, has been recorded. That's over. That's done. And I thought that she was going to win because this was supposed to hype us up for her return, like her proper challenge return, All Stars 4. And that's not what we got.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right. I think that's pretty much everything from this episode, unless you guys have something else. The only thing I'll say is episode 10. TJ told us we're halfway through the game. And that was before we even got to the elimination. Episode 10, no one went home because Kyland won that elimination. Episode 11, nobody went home. Episode 12, nobody goes home. So we're halfway through the game. 3 eliminations have happened and nobody has left. So how are they going to get these people out of here?
I even at one point when we went into this elimination, TJ said, "Oh, this is elimination number 12." And then I counted on my thing and we have only lost 8 people, which means that the next elimination is going to be elimination 13. And we've still only lost 8 people. So we have almost had twice as many eliminations as there are people who have
left. So how do you think they might handle this? Are they just going to have like a bunch of double eliminations in a row? Like, what do you think is going to happen here?
I mean, what's the next phase? Because it's chaos, and then what happens after that? Do you remember?
Conquest.
Conquest. Okay. Because I'm almost wondering if there's some kind of a purge coming.
Right. Because when you think about it too, we only have 2 more champions coming back if Brad and CT both come back. So after that, let's just say hypothetically that Brad and CT both eliminate whoever they go up against. We still have 14 people in there. And now no more champions to come in. So like, do they just go back to regular style eliminations, do you think, where it's just one contender against one contender and they compete? Like,
right, because I can't imagine it's going to be teams because the whole thing is like only one person can win. So I don't see a situation where they go into like duo competitions where 2 people leave, you know?
Right. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of weird. I'm very curious to see like how they handle this because at the most, I mean, for all we know, 2 weeks from now, there will still be 16 people there.
Right.
So it's like I'm very curious. Like, what do you do? Like,
I feel like it has to be a purge.
Yeah. Like, I mean, maybe you just double up on eliminations. You just say
maybe
2 eliminations per episode. Like, I don't know. Or do you do like
even right now?
I think so. There's 14 people left, right? I do think it's 7 and 7. I could be wrong.
Hold on. I have like the cast list up here. 4, 5, 6, 8 women. Yeah, it's even.
Oh, 8. Okay, yeah. I said
it's
7
and
8, 7.
Yeah.
It's 8 and 8. It's 8 and 8. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I really don't know. I mean,
granted, the next 2 are both men's eliminations, but for all we know, none of them are going. So,
right. That's the big thing that I'm wondering next is like, and does chaos end when all the mercenaries are gone, or does chaos continue? Yeah, like I don't know what.
Unless like the last hurrah of chaos is like, and now half the cast leaves, or like something crazy,
right.
You know?
Exactly. Oh, Kyle's back.
You didn't see his oop a doop in the private chat.
Well, I would like to get Kyle's opinion on this also. Gina and I were talking about
speculating.
Well, no, we were just talking about the fact that like, TJ told us episodes ago that we were halfway through the game, and yet in the last 3 episodes nobody has gone home. So we still have 16 people left. 8 men,
so still halfway.
8 women. There's only 2 more mercenaries coming in. So how do they get rid of these other people? You know what I mean? Do we just go back to regular eliminations where there's no?
Well, they said there was a 3rd phase, right? It was supposed to
be. Well,
it's
control. It's control, chaos, and then conquest. But okay. I mean, like, so, but all these weeks in a row, like, what if nobody goes home? Like, Brad and CT are coming. Let's say they don't send anybody home either, and now there's still 16 people left. Do we double up on eliminations for multiple weeks?
Hope so. Let's speed this sucker up.
You know what I mean? Like, what do we?
Go. Male, female, bang, 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 bang. Everybody, get the hell out of here. Let's wrap this up.
That's kind of just what I'm wondering.
Because we said too, right now we are at an even split of 8 and 8 with the men and the women, as it is right now. There's still 2 men's eliminations in chaos, but
right.
Do you think we could see?
So 2 men go, just do a double female, and just do doubles until we get to the end. Goodbye, everybody.
Do you think? So we've seen them do, individual daily challenges, right? We've seen them do duos. We've seen them do teams. Do you think that they get to a point where if they have a daily challenge that's like a duo challenge, that if you nominate one, the whole duo goes in? And then so you got a duo versus a duo, so 2 people go home. You know what I mean? How do you think they might handle this?
I wouldn't like it being duos, given the.
I don't like that either.
Like, just given the structure of like how this game is working, you're not going to get a man winning and a woman winning. Like, you're just going to get like a winner. So to do duos doesn't feel right to me. I was saying it could be a purge, like maybe like the last hurrah of chaos is like, and now we eliminate the guest, like something. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially because like there's been a lot of focus on people's social game in this game, and I would hate to see somebody be going down simply because they were paired with the wrong person.
Yeah.
There's been too much focus on what people are doing socially and where they stand in the house to like let any of that depend on anyone else.
Yeah. I'm curious. I just, we'll see what happens. Gina was saying when you were gone, Kyle, that like we've had 12 eliminations, right? 8 people have gone home. So next week, let's say nobody goes home next week, and that's 13 eliminations and nobody goes home, just hypothetically. That means that almost in half of the eliminations that we've had, nobody has gone home. Which
we've almost had double the eliminations as we have people being eliminated.
Right, it's boring, and it's like you really this whole season could have been like really close to wrapping up if you weren't not sending people home. Can you imagine a season of Big Brother where just nobody ever goes home?
And that's why it's starting to feel like that ride or die season, where like every time we would lose one, we would get another team coming in, and then it just the game never stops.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they could have a strong end to the season though if they start doing like double elimination each week or something like that. Like that could be exciting to watch, and then get to the final quick.
I'm not totally out of it. I think this is the strongest episode we've had in a few weeks.
Sure,
I agree.
Because, there was a lot of good social stuff here, and this is also why I wouldn't like this game ending in a duo situation, because everything that happened in this episode is really kind of like laying the ground for how this end game should be going.
I guess, yeah, and I guess as I think about it more too, like it wouldn't really make sense for there to be duo eliminations if this is a season where you only have one winner.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a male and a female winner, and and all that. So,
well, yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like it wouldn't make sense to like all of a sudden now be doubling up when like you're only looking for one champion. Like I shouldn't have to rely on another person. It's my championship,
Right.
Do you think that they would do like double eliminations though, like a 1v1 and then another 1v1 in the same episode? Or do you think they would ever do you think they'd go crazy out of the box and do like a 3-person elimination? It's a puzzle, and the one person that wins sends the other 2 home or something like that. Do you think they would I don't think they've ever done that on the challenge though. Have they? Have they done something like that?
It would have to be something that was all like that one gender related though. So if you're doing that, it's got to be an all female thing. You put 3 females in, and either 1 or 2 come back, or all men go in. Like it can't be mismatched,
right?
Because there needs to be a social reason for them to have gone in, because again, so much focus has been on the social game here. They can't, and if they do that and you just throw that all aside, then I'd be very, very upset, because like, what was the point of any of this? You're talking about the decisions that Corey made that impacted his social game. Is he in danger? Is he not? Where does he stand in the house? Where is he on people's list of things? Same thing with Berna. Now we're seeing this with Olivia. She doesn't really know where she fits into this whole thing. If all of a sudden that all means nothing, then like what
was this for?
Here? Yeah. What was the point?
Yeah. All right.
But the more I say that, it's like it's also equally possible that's exactly what they would do, because the challenge has been letting us down for a little while. So So who knows? But I certainly hope not.
All right. Well, so to wrap things up, Michelle beats Cara Maria. Prize pot stays at $366,000. On the next it looks like there could be some Corey drama. I don't even remember exactly what it was. I watched the next there was something that made me write down some Corey drama with a question mark. So we'll see what happens. Also, I wrote down Kyland/Jay tension with a question mark. Also, don't remember why I wrote that down, but apparently there was something that made me believe there could be some tension between Kyland and Jay coming up on the next episode.
Jay is leaving very soon.
I hope so. He's one of mine too, isn't he? He's one of mine, and I hope he's gone.
I think he's.
Well, you haven't lost anybody yet. You're due.
Yeah, you are due. No, Gina. John is overdue. Okay. The library is looking to collect. Like, what is going on? I know. I'm so sick of looking at these sheets. Because
nothing ever changes. Yeah.
So long. Exactly. It's the same damn thing I saw a month ago. This is the same team sheets we saw pre-Christmas.
I will say, I think it's really funny that I haven't lost anybody, and the last two people on my team I didn't even pick. They were just the last two people that were left.
It's hysterical. Yes, a regular riot, some might say.
And honestly, I can't believe some of these people have lasted as long as they have. Honestly, though, because like James was put into elimination early. He was one of the first people to go into elimination. Zara, I feel like her name has come up a lot.
Raven goes in every episode.
Yeah, like I'm just like I'm shocked that my team has made it through unscathed so far.
I'm still holding on to Colleen, who's been in many times as well. So
yeah.
Other than Kylands, when my people go in, they go home.
I've lost three. I'm not too far behind you.
I think Kyland is really making a strong case for himself to be like a regular challenger. Like,
oh hell yeah,
right? Like he's had some impressive wins. He's done very well this season. He's one of the
only people that came from Challenge USA that actually made it to an MTV challenge.
Yeah. I'm excited about
on the main stage now.
I'm excited about seeing Kyland on future seasons of the challenge. I really do think he could win the whole thing at some point.
Love him.
Yeah. Love him. Maybe it'll be this season. Who knows? He's still in there. He's still
fighting. Knows?
Yeah. So, and our next daily challenge is one of our, truck racing down the runway, do some crazy stuff on this moving truck. So we'll see how that goes.
Kyle with that eye roll.
Yeah, I don't really like them. Oh my god, the truck's speeding down the road. Like, I don't really care.
I will say this too, because I've been complaining a lot about like these random teams and why we can't do some kind of draft or something different than just like being like, you're standing next to each other, so you're a team. You're standing next to each other, so you're a team. And I'm thinking to myself, like, TJ told us, right, that we would get team elimination, team daily challenges, duo daily challenges. And I feel like we haven't had any, or even individual daily challenges. And I feel like we haven't had any like individual or duos in a while. It feels like it's been a lot of teams lately.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
It's because we're in the chaos thing.
I'm tired of these random teams. I'm tired of it.
I'm also tired of these super long seasons. Episode 12. We should, if we're not already at the finale, we should be at finale eve.
Oh, that's like I prefer USA. I'm sorry. Like it goes by so much quicker. I think it's formatted better. I
hate that that's where I'm getting, because that's never where I was with the challenge.
I agree. And here's the biggest problem to me, I think, is that if we were on episode 12 and we were talking about getting into the final, that would be one thing. It's episode 12. We started with 24 people. And we still have 16. There are still more people in the house than even episodes that we've had. And it's like, at this point, we should be down. If we're on episode 12, if we're on episode 12, we should have at least lost 12 people.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least 10. At least 10. Like, this is like, we're just being very draggy with a cast that's not super likable. Yeah. At least the way they're presenting it to us, because I'm tired of the Jay and Michelle show.
Tired of Jay and Michelle. There are others that I like, but
danger. I really want to see Jay go. I just can't stand him.
Yeah, I'm ready for Jay to go, and like that's why I was also excited to see Michelle get called down too. Like, I would have been excited no matter what happened with Cara Maria coming back. If she called out somebody different, if she pulled Raven or Colleen's, poll instead. Like, I was just so hyped to see her back. But like, it also was really exciting to finally see Michelle be in danger, because she was freaking out about Laurel coming back and calling her out, and we didn't get to see that. So we got to see Cara Maria call her out, and it just ended up being such a letdown at the end.
It was.
But all right. I mean, I guess that's all I have. Anybody else have anything else for the benefit of the community?
I think that's all I got.
I'm satisfied.
All right. Yeah. Well, the edible that I had is definitely kicking in. So
there it is.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start signing off.
Let's get the hell out of here.
What do we have coming?
Where can they find us?
Well, what do we have? What do we have coming up? Well, not immediately, but we will be talking about the Traitors season 2. We'll be talking about Australian Survivor when that gets going.
That's February 5th.
Yeah, so February 5th, and Trader season 2 starts next week, right?
The 12th?
Next Friday.
Yeah, the first 3 episodes drop on the 12th, and then it's 1 episode per week dropping on Thursdays.
Okay. Exciting.
And Natalie is saying Traders UK. Kyle is watching. We don't know if we'll be covering that. We probably won't be. Maybe we do another, Kyle Petty in the UK kind of a thing, just chatting on the side. Because the United Kingdom is my kingdom. So maybe we'll end up doing something like that. But I feel like the 3 of us are probably not going to get into that, because we're going to be doing Traders US.
I mean, I watched Traders UK last time, so I'll definitely be watching. But so maybe
even not like a live thing. Maybe just do like a pre-record or something.
Maybe I can be your guest. I'll be your guest.
Yeah, you can be my guest. Consider me chuffed. Goes to Traders UK.
Yeah. But before that, next Thursday, January 11th, we'll be talking about the next episode of the Challenge 39.
Yes.
And hopefully Brad, if it's him that comes in as our champion, will send somebody home. That would be nice. But all right.
As long as it's not one of my men.
Yeah. But all right, this has been another stream from Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod on all of your favorite social media channels, social media platforms. Sorry. Find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a nice review. That would be nice. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, all those things. Do all of them, because we love you and we want you to love us. And all right, I think I'm done now.
Yeah, you're done.
Goodbye. Lido.